is fly, beautiful, got it going on. She is a wife, mother, woman of God, and high-level boss chick, co-owner of 3 thriving community mental health centers. When she speaks, people listen because she has it all together. I'm talking red bottom heels together look. As she rides lovely in that midnight blue cream leather interior Cadillac Escalade, watch as she drives into the driveway of her 2-story home on a lake. Look at her go. Look at her, a single struggling mother. Her children cry out for her love and attention. Her home is well furnished, yet empty at the same time. She cries uncontrollably at the side of her bed, wondering, what is she being punished for? She cries out to a God she believes has abandoned her. She cannot stop her negative thoughts. She is abandoned. She is incarcerated by her own ambition. No achievement is great enough. The hardest part of her day is waking up, and her ideation is, what would life be like without me in it? I was the woman in the first scenario, and I was the woman in the second scenario. All in the same day, every single day. My work ethic invited a high level of stress and demand on my time and energy. I was not intentional about refilling my cup, although I was serving everything I had to this world. I was not intentional about my mental health, going at 100 each and every day, not stopping for air, and I had the nerve to call it purpose and resilience. Until one day, I was preparing to speak for a conference. I bent over to pick up an empty suitcase, and I felt what I thought was a knife stab me in the back. I tried to cry out for my daughter, but couldn't find the breath, and every time I tried, the pain just intensified. I felt the very same knife stab me in the middle of my chest. I was experiencing excruciating pains and didn't know what to do, so I waited. I pressed through, and I drove to the conference. I presented another second to none training, closed on 3 new contracts, but my next memory was in an ambulance. And I can remember hearing the EMT, African-American woman, early 40s, possible heart attack, and just like that, my mindset shifted forever. I vowed never to allow my career to dictate how I prioritized. Entrepreneurship was to give access to freedom and total life prosperity. What was I thinking? Little did I know, God was preparing me to be an expert in a movement that would cause high achievers to not only thrive in their careers, but to also thrive in their emotional and mental health. My name is Schellie FanFan, CEO and owner of Ask Schellie Consulting. I am a licensed psychotherapist, and I lead a team of emotional intelligence experts that provide small business owners all the way to corporate leaders the support of psychoeducation that establishes a workplace culture we call P3. Peak psychological performance. We also work with individuals who have discovered that they would never achieve peak level without tapping into their very unique emotional needs. Before I continue, I have a question. Do I have any high achievers in the house? Let's try that again. Do I have any high achievers in the house? Okay. Can I brag on us for just a second? Can I brag on us for just a second? High achievers are always right. Can I get an amen? And while that felt so good to say, that's not necessarily the truth. But what is the truth is high achievers are goal-getters. They are goal-oriented. They are opportunistic and optimistic. They are risk-takers. High achievers do not stop. High achievers do not sleep until they get the job done. These characteristics are the reasons why high achievers are susceptible to mental health challenges. 20% of alcoholics are high achievers. 1 out of every 4 high-performing adult has had a diagnosable mental health disorder at least one time in their adulthood. The day-to-day experiences of a high achiever include stress, anxiety, depression, burnout, coupled with very unhealthy ways of coping, to include self-medicating with illicit substances, pain pills, sex, and, drum roll please, work addiction. What is the answer? P3. Normalizing abnormalities is what keeps us in business. Normalizing your inability to sleep. Normalizing your inability to attract healthy partners. Normalizing your inability to decompress. I'm talking about sweeping under the rug your grief, your infertility, your addiction. Sweeping under the rug your lack of self-acceptance that you mask by overperforming. Individuals have the responsibility to crack the code on accessing the greatest version of yourselves. Employers must know how to get the best out of their employees. When I returned to work after the hospitalization, I came back swinging, and I'm talking Muhammad Ali in his prime swinging. And the more I tapped into my mental health, establishing boundaries and really processing the emotional injury, the more productive and creative I became. And I brought that energy into my practices, establishing workplace wellness by simply sitting down with my employees, asking them how they were doing and how they can best be supported in their challenges, sending out weekly emails on wellness tips. We produced a 30% increase in our revenue the following month. Peak psychological performance. Where does this process begin? It begins with awareness. Awareness promotes responsiveness, and responsiveness leads to peak psychological performance. And this is why I created a self-assessment tool, and it's called How Do I Look? Individuals in the privacy of their own homes can engage in a self-discovery process. All of us, hopefully, we make sure that we get our eyes and our ears and our teeth and our bodies checked at least once a year, correct? I had a friend tell me she hasn't had her teeth cleaned professionally since 2019 because of COVID. I blocked her on all social media platforms. However, let's assume that we all get our eyes and our ears and our teeth and our body checked at least once a year. But how many of you have had a comprehensive assessment on your mental health? How Do I Look is a 16-module measure that will provide clarity of where you land in your emotional wellness. You can gain access to that by going to www.howdoilook.net. For years, I have seen the light bulb go off for people, going from emotionally unhealthy to emotionally intelligent, which is required to break out of emotional bondage. People, your mental health. Employers, your high performers' mental health will be the greatest return that you can earn on this investment. We were all taken back by the suicide of Ian Alexander, the son of Regina King. And just recently, Miss USA 2019, Chesley Chris, who died by suicide at the prime of her life. And people always ask, what are the signs and what are the symptoms? And what I say is, why do we wait for signs and symptoms before we take action? With intention, you can achieve happiness. You can overcome the addiction. You can walk out the fullness of who God created you to be. It is a decision, and it starts with you. Connect with me at www.howdoilook.net and learn to authentically live in your smile. Thank you.